Oh man, didn't realize my mic was hot. Everybody's just listening to my dog eat. Oh, he's chewing on a bone. I'm almost ready. We're almost ready. It has been a hectic day. Hectic day. I see all sorts of crazy articles about all sorts of crazy shit. Coins moonshotting and stocks that are supposed to do this, stocks that are supposed to do that. Kind of ludicrous how deeply involved people can get into some of this stuff. And just have like an unbalanced and narrow view on how things are supposed to work. Oh, so I'm almost ready. We're gonna get this show on the road real soon. I am excited. Okay. Turn that up some. Oh man, I didn't realize that was so low. Okay, now I know there's a fan going on in the background. It is a dehumidifier because I had a leak and now I have to deal with the leak. Okay, where did we stop? We got Ebb. We got the tower. Last time we decapitated Ebb. And this is the first time I've ever played without verse, which is interesting. Definitely got some different armor going on because of different character type. Oh. Doesn't mean we have to stick with that character type. Oh. So. There we go. What was that? Oh, that's almost done. Okay, where do we start?
Right.
Trying to think about where to. All right, let's start with leveling up Ebb. Seems like a good place. Oh, I got something a little interesting for tonight. Actually, it's gonna be new. It's gonna be my standard thing. I got a dice pad, so my dice don't go rolling all over the place. I got this at the local game store. I think like Madness Games and Comics. This is fucking huge. I'd never. Last time I was in a place that big with that much nerdy stuff was a convention. But nonetheless, it was big. So, nice felt bottom, wood side, super light. I don't know how durable it is, but I wouldn't use it as a frisbee. So that's what I'm gonna be rolling in from now on versus the notepad, which was starting to get warped because it was just a piece of paper. Alright, and let's see. Oh, we're gonna start with Ebb. Oh, I also bought an opal die. That does kind of react to this cool blue light I've got going on in here. So this is I was missing this D4, and they just happened to have one in the loose die stack. I was like, oh my god, I needed that. It was the last one they had. It was meant to be. It was meant to be, so I picked it up. And that's a pretty useful die. We use it often in this game. All right. The first one is 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Health. Well, you can't go wrong with a little bit of extra health, can you, Ed? Okay, we got another one. Oh, she's got 3. 1. Attack. I don't know. Strength. Endurance, maybe. Endurance defense. Might be good for her. She's a mage, so it's kind of futile to like throw a bunch of stuff in there. 5. More health. Odd title, even Gravelight. Gravelight sounds kind of cool though. So, odd. So title, she's already got a point in that. Whoa. On a 3. That's way better than trying to split a D6 down the middle. Where is it? Let's try that out. Roll a D12. I got an 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 divided by 4 is 2. That does work. Oh. So that's a 2 right there. Alright. Interesting. That works way better than trying to divide a 5 and a D6 to like end up with 2. It doesn't make sense. Afflictions applied to Ebb have their durations reduced. Okay, cool. Alrighty. Odd title. Even Gravelight. Even. I only got 1 for Gravelight. Send a charged bolt of arcane energy to a foe that bounces to hit nearby enemies. Okay, cool. One more. Odd. Even. 5, odd. And we're going to roll that D12 again, divide it by 4. 7 divided by 4 is 2. That leaves, if I'm correct. So that's a 1. That's what I thought. Okay. I was like, why is it not giving me? Alright, Runic Barrier requires 1 talent point in Gravelight. Yada yada. Grants armor bonus while Ebb is wearing light armor in combat. Sounds. Alright, so Ebb's going to get some light armor. That's cool, because light armor is pretty useful. And I think I got 1, 2, 3. Okay, everything is used. Now let's talk, shall we?
Salutations, Fatebinder. Or should I now call you Lord of Vendrian's Well? The Spire King? Prince of the suggestive vertical slab.
I like Prince of the suggestive vertical slab. That's a... There we go. 10! Which, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It's a 1. Damage will
So
suffice.
if I might ask, what is your plan now? The edict no longer looms overhead, and Kairos' conquest of the Tiers seems to be slipping. What with the armies and civil war.
Okay, well, we'll roll a d6. What do we have to say about that? We have a 5. I will crush the remaining local opposition and complete the conquest.
I see. I'm sure there's little I can do to persuade you otherwise. Just consider that the people of the Tiers will someday bow to Kairos. Why not have them bow to you instead?
What does the dice say about this? 2. I'm improvising.
My first suggestion would be to build a boat. Something durable, and take our chances on the high seas far from Kairos. I have a second and more practical suggestion. Look to the horizon and slightly up. By that I mean the other spires. We should see what's atop the others. Otherwise, someone else might look first.
Get that D12 out. 10, which is a 1. What do you know about the
Not nearly
spires?
enough, apparently. To me, they've always been axioms of navigation. You can triangulate a lot of things with the sextant and a clear view to a spire or two. We've long known the spires radiate strong magical fields, and all save the mountain spire connect to the old walls. So it's the sort of thing common folk know from afar, but avoid day to day.
Okay. I think it's 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, I get to use the... This is the first roll with this opal die right here. And I get to use it. 1. First order of business. I should speak with
I would
Tunon.
counsel you to do just that. I'm sure the events of Vendrian's Well are best explained from your mouth to Tunon's ears. Furthermore, I'd guess the Archon of Justice would want to know your take on the Archons and their divide.
What a waste they are. Alright, down to 3. Come on. Do I have to, like, exhaust all your conversation options before I get it? 8, which is, just a 2.
Aren't you a feisty one? Where was this hate for Kairos' lackeys a few years ago? You seem so very eager to turn on your old allies. But I'm not one to criticize. I think it's wise to lean into the winds of change.
Alright, so that's all I have for now. It's the
Well,
only thing
short
that's
of
left.
Tunon giving you orders on pain of death, you have the luxury of acting on your own volition. Though the Scarlet Chorus are likely to come for you. Whatever you decide, I'm at your disposal.
Alright! Jibber jabber. 3. Have a moment, let's speak further.
What is it you need?
I don't know. What does the dice want to tell me? 10, which is a 1. We should discuss matters at
We're
hand.
working with the disfavored. You want my advice? My advice would be to get close to Graven Ash and plunge a poisoned shiv in his ear.
Okay. 7, which is 6. It's a 1. It's a 1. Graven Ash is my ally. I won't entertain such
I
treachery.
will never understand why deceit is the first instinct of all Tiersmen. You are right to take offense.
Yeah, right. I'm speaking out of line. But I don't really know what to say here. I hate
Otter
the disfavored,
even.
but I'm sworn to your cause, so my honest opinion won't do anyone any good.
13, which is odd. That leaves us with a 3. Alright, let's return to our travels. Good God. Why do I always have, like, to spend a bunch of time talking? Alright, Fate Binder. If you have a moment. Yeah, Barrack isn't exactly happy with this, so... there are a number of times which I came to your service which I have not agreed fully with your choices. That said, we have never have I truly questioned your judgment. I hope this pattern holds after you hear the request. Request I now make of you. Okay. Spit it out, Barrack. 2. Relax, Barrack. Just tell me what's on your mind. I hope that perhaps the adjudicator would hear my case. What are we gonna say to Barrack? 3. Say nothing. I have been encased in this. He wraps a gauntlet against the shards of corroded iron and bronze that sweep across his chest. Shells since Kairos' Edict of Storms made a grave of old stalwart. It occurred in service to the Overlord, and I would ask that the Overlord free me of its burden. That's a large ask. 3. You gain loyalty with Barrack. Thank you, Fate Binder. I eagerly await the Archon's judgment. Okay. I didn't know that was a thing.
At least in theory, I'm supposed to be observing history and not getting myself wrapped into it. All the same, this is the thrill of a lifetime. Rarely does one stand so close to monumental moments in the making. If given the choice between a multifaceted hive mind of treachery and a surly old soldier, General Grumps is the wiser choice. It's patently obvious which Archon is truly loyal to Kairos. So, I must ask, are you planning on taking sides in the Civil War? Or do you have other plans?
Oh, well... 3. I have my own little corner of the tears now. My plans are entirely my own.
Your plans are your own, until they plunge the rest of us into misfortune. But I shall not pry, not now, at least. Know that your actions at Vendrian's Well have earned you the attention of the Tears. Your reputation will attract opportunity and disaster, likely in uneven measures. Whatever you do next, consider that many eyes will be upon you, for you have both delivered and taken away the Overlord's edicts, and few will know how to make sense of the latter. You are an exception the Archons cannot afford to ignore. They will likely aim to control or destroy you.
Well... Please roll a 1. An 8. Which is a 2.
Most of Kairos' edicts were either worded to end in a manner of the Overlord's choosing, or the edicts have simply continued in perpetuity. That's not to say there haven't been stories of broken edicts. They're just uncommon. The oldest is, I think, Golbraith and the Edict of Sorrows, and that tale dates back to around the year 110. Aside from you, the most recent was the Edict of Twisting Grasses, back in 380. In all these stories, Kairos' edict very clearly gives its victim a single way to escape, and someone manages it. What's never happened is the pure abatement of an edict, like using a spell of warding or cancellation.
Alright, odd, even, the D20 roll right here. 17, which is odd. Noted. Now let's get going. Okay. Alright, so we have two things to do. One has to be done so we can do the other anyways. Venturing Guard. Well, tell why they don't like me. At the moment, I'm interested in those guys. Mostly because I want the most magic possible. For some odd reason, I need to know all this stuff. So, we have plenty of merchants. No misses. Now, all of our merchants here. Do we touch this now? Bloop. On closer inspection, a series of symbols carved around the bases pulse with a blue-white glow. The pattern resembles the glowing lines of light seen on the floor of Ascension Hall, moments before you found yourself transported above the clouds. As you stare at the symbol, the chill of the winds abates, and your chest swells with warmth. The air finally feels welcoming, your lungs sated at last. I'd be careful getting any closer. This whole tower is humming with energies that we don't quite understand. The entry holds up a quill poised above a sheet of parchment with anticipation. Now, I didn't say back away. Let's find out what it does. Just be cautious. You know, he could have just said, for science. For science. That would have been nice. I can feel power running through this place. Ebb surveys the surrounding, her gaze sweeping the objects at the center. You can sense the magic, the spire even from down below. But up here, this close to the axis of the spire, the deluge of energy is numbing. I feel dizzy. Do you feel dizzy? Barrack massages the brow of his helmet, causing a howl of grinding echo across the expanse. Well, odd or even? We rolled an even, so we're gonna touch it. Touch the sculpture. Do you need outside? Okay. The pup needs outside. And I'm caught on a cord, which is ridiculously wrapped around something. I don't even know how I did that. Alright. Alright, one moment. Let me finish this conversation. I'll let you out. The stone is smooth and cold to the touch. Marbling patterns move with the curves of sculpture. curves of the sculpture, looking more akin to the veins than imperfections of rock. You can't find a single marking to suggest an artisan's tool. As you are about to draw your finger away, you feel a sudden return pressure on your fingertip as the sculpture touches you back. It touches me back. The sculpture once again still. There is a rush of warmth through your body, a jolt of enervation that steadies your balance, and a barrage of tactile sensations floods your mind as you feel footsteps and wind, but not on your face or your limbs. A moment later, the flood of information begins to make sense. You are feeling the wind against the spire, and even the weight of your own feet, as if the spire were a second spine. With the connection made, you feel your awareness pull from this place, not as a traveler, but as one glimpsing the world from impossibly far away. In this moment, there is nothing you can see. In this moment, there is nothing you cannot see, though you see it nearly all at once, in a flood of sensation that is difficult to parse. You see a spire at the crossing of an ancient stone structure, two walls extending off into the distance. At the base of this eternal spire, settlers and merchants act in every way unconcerned, toiling under the observations of unforgiving taskmasters as shadows of the spire falls over them. The mood changes, the settlers pause in shared unease, looking up at the sky, towards you. Some of the faces looking at you are familiar, and you recognize this place as Lethian's Crossing, where you served during the war. Near this settlement, built at the joining of the ancient walls, you see a breach in the massive masonry, a cleft in the forbidden, hidden realm within the old walls. Oh. One, we're either gonna drift closer to the spire, or two, drift into the old walls entrance. Two, odd, or even. There we go. Shadows envelop you, muting all sound and vision with slight delay. There's a feeling of perversion of wrongness. Whatever arcane power is allowing your senses to drift free of your body seems to falter in this place. Figures haunt the stone walls, drifting emanations of cloud, claw, and fang. They pay you no heed, but you fear them all the same. And the depths of this forbidden place, the deepest chamber is bathed in light. An arcane symbol illuminates the floor, though the details hurt your eyes when you focus. With a gentle tug, your focus pulls back to a new horizon, though it takes you a moment to recognize Vendrian's well. You've returned to the awareness of your immediate surroundings. The effect leaves you unsteady on your feet. Drift closer to the spire. The spire feels similar to the one you now occupy, though instead of radiating arcane life, it reeks of dust and crumbling stone. A branch withering once pulled from its tree, it reaches for you with a barely perceptible tug. The link between you and the spire secedes. The arcane bond is still present, but the mystical energies from the moment are quiet. Your body flooded with excitement and fatigue. It's unclear whether the mystic connection is strengthening you or siphoning you. The tower offers nothing by the way of answer, and you know that asking would only yield more silence and mystery. The deluge of sensation is over, but the positions of the other spires still linger in your mind. From your vantage point atop the mountain spire, you can easily spot the mysterious structures, each of them rising high above their distant surroundings. Looks like we can leave again. Did you hear that? Landry signs a long sigil in the air, squinting at you as he works his cantrip. The ripples are everywhere. When you move, the magic of this place stirs and churns. the portal over there, those burning braziers, they all grow more intense as you approach. I think it's responding to your presence. I hate to interrupt the wool gathering, but you did just resolve one of Cairo's edicts, which is at least as remarkable as ascending a spire. Am I the only one who thinks they might be related? Barrick plants his feet and crosses his arms. As the lawful holder of the spire, it is your duty to find out as much about it as possible. That includes understanding edicts as well. If you forget your responsibilities, I'll be happy to remind you. Be sure to see me after your audience with Tunon. We cannot let the Scarlet Chorus gain hold in the tears. Together we will wipe them all from the land. Come to me as soon as you can, Fatebinder. We have a lot of work to do. I think last week I had a voice for her, but I couldn't remember a voice for her today. Oh! Well. Alright. The poor dog needs to be let out, so we're going to let him out. And then we will be right back. And we're back. The dog. I only feed him once a day for a reason. Otherwise it becomes a poop machine. It's a lot of poop for a tiny dog. All right, we got three quests: Weight of Aegis, Voices of Kairos, and Stirring Visions. Last time I did this, we didn't do Tunon's Court until the very end, and that's just the way the dice rolled shit out. So So on that note, we're gonna roll a d12. It'll be divided by 4. I think that's gonna be the way it's gonna work. We'll just go in ascending order 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, etc., etc. Alright. So, here we go. When we rolled a 2, Voice of Kairos. Tunon awaits your return to his court in the Bastard City. Okay. Alright, oh, Barrick. Here we go, Barrick. Since we're here, we might as well just take on both those quests at the same time. But first, Barrick. 3. Spell strength. Well, magic defense. That's always a useful thing, especially when you're on the front line. Odd, even. Punisher is odd. Sentinel is even. We got odd Punisher, so we got an odd or even right here. So we'll just keep going with that. Odd will be left, even will be right. And we rolled an 11, so odd. Engagement required one gives a chance to attack enemies as they engage you. Okay, so. How come Barrick got up there first?
You call yourselves officers of Kairos' army, but your conduct falls short of my expectations. The court finds your accounts of Vendrian's well lacking, rife with misdirection and fallacy, fouled with baseless accusation.
What? What's going on here? Odd one. Even listen. We are going to listen. Your Honor, I have relayed the events as I experienced them. You can imagine well why my version conflicts with his. She makes a dismissive gesture to the Scarlet Chorus representative. On my honor, and that of the great general, I would sooner snap my sword than perjure myself before you, Archon. Blood Mulch. Mulch. That's kind of a crazy name, Mulch. Let me drop that down just a hair. A little bit more. Alright, that looks better. Oh, so you imply the falsehood that comes easier to my lips than yours? You're a fool if you believe the Archon of Justice won't see through your lies because the disfavored think themselves better than an honest gang.
Silence. The contradictions in your statements will be examined, and falsities threshed from truths. If we find you have perjured yourselves, Bled and Mark will see to your fate.
The Archon of Truth. The Archon turns, and you feel his gaze upon you.
Fatebinder, We will start with the matter of the Archons. Graven Ash and the Voices of Nerat have declared war upon each other. In addition to violating Kairos' peace, they have thrown the conquest of the Tears into disarray. By all accounts, these hostilities began shortly after your arrival. Tell us what transpired.
Oh, well... Time for to roll a d4. 4!
Curious. Your statement contradicts all other testimonies on the matter.
But, I know you were there. She shakes her head in frustration and turns to the Archon. If nothing else, the ironclad lady and I agree. Bloodmorge smiles at you, showing the ragged gaps between his teeth. What are you afraid of, huh?
Fatebinder, you know full well the penalty for perjury. If we cannot trust the words upon your breath, then you cannot be trusted with lungs. Do you wish to rectify your statement?
We're gonna roll a d12. We rolled a 4, which is divided by 3, which is a 1.
Could this be true? The senseless killing of a good Northman, especially the Archon's Blood King, is no small act of war. The Voices of Nerat would answer for this crime.
Clearly, the Fatebinder has spent too much time resolving the problems of others. He sees only controversy and intrigue. It's no wonder that we're worse off now than before he arrived. Odd or even, we're gonna roll. And I rolled a 19. So we're rolling on Archons could not agree on who should lead the siege and descended in accusations of treachery. It seemed a mutual spect. The disfavored were more deserving of the honor. Our tactics and training outmatched the Vendrian Guard at every turn. That's what Balderdash. The disfavored couldn't tip over a straw hut if they had a week to strategize. Our howling mob was better equipped to overwhelm the Vendrian Guard. Our recruits were ready to throw themselves at the enemy if only Ash and his legion would agree to a plan.
The Fatebinder presents testimony. I warn you both against speaking out of turn. Something more than a mere disagreement unraveled this campaign. But I will return to that in time. Let us speak of Ascension Hall. The disfavored sing your praises across the realm, though the Scarlet Chorus appeal for charges of treason. Perhaps you can offer a more enlightened account.
So that doesn't make sense because we like half-sided with the Scarlet Chorus up until like the very end. So it was almost 50-50s. Odd or even. Odd. Oh, thankfully we're going to tell the truth.
An efficient solution. The type I would expect from a capable agent. Tell me, though, with the edict looming overhead and death the price of failure, why not employ the numerical advantage of the Scarlet Chorus?
Okay, odd or even. I mean, they're both true. Which one do you go with, right? I don't even know what that... I have to put this down here so I can see what I roll. So I'm not... Okay. 14. There we go. That's better. Oh, that's an even. Right? That's crazy.
I will consider this testimony at length. The court thanks you for it. Is there anything you wish to add at this time?
I have told you all that I know.
Your testimony is accepted by the court. The statements of our guests raise questions in my mind. There is much about this campaign that has caused me to wonder. A shipment of iron weapons was short on arrival. Where coveted iron is concerned, I don't believe it to be a clerical error. One of my agents recovered this seal in Echo Call. It belongs to a merchant collective. Lethian's Crossing is teeming with their kind. If you would root out treachery, I would advise starting there. Petitioners, leave us. I would have a private audience with the Fatebinder. Ascend and join me. You will find the way opened.
All of you. Not just Barrick. Barrick is a good name. I like it. I think it's a... I don't want to say it's a strong name. But it reminds me of a character named Garrick. Man, what was that from? Garrick.
This civil war, this feud, is an insult to Kairos' peace. It should not have taken the better part of a year to silence the last vestiges of the Oathbreakers.
I agree. Odd. I do agree.
Our allies squabble while our enemies regroup. It falls upon the court to measure the extent of the damage and to execute the agents of disorder. I suspect that treachery, negligence, disunity, and greed have infected one or both of our esteemed allies. Until you are instructed otherwise, this matter is the court's primary focus. Graven Ash and the voices of Nerat must be examined in close detail. You are charged with observing the Archons and presenting your case that one of them has wrought chaos and disorder upon the Tiers.
Rolling that D4 again. 4.
As always, you will be held accountable for what you do in the court's name. But you are free to conduct your investigation in the manner of your choosing. You must expect lies, misdirection, and manipulation. Suffer not such obstructions of justice. The disfavored seem the logical first step in your inquiry. The Legion holds you in some esteem, and Graven Ash has shown deference to the court in times past. No doubt the disfavored will be rife with accusations and evidence against the voices of Nerat. Graven Ash is a noble man, but never underestimate his capacity for deception. A wise general succeeds by knowing when to be unreadable to the enemy. You should, of course, speak with the Scarlet Chorus and gather their testimony. But it stands to reason that most in the chorus would sooner brag about a pauldron fashioned from your skull than entertain your questions. Do not regret killing the rabble that impede your investigation. They will be easily replaced.
Okay, well, they will be easily replaced. I can appreciate that. There's a D12. Three. Interrogating the Scarlet Chorus seems an expedient move.
The conscription methods of the Scarlet Chorus open the doors to the loyal and the wretched alike. No doubt those who are aligned to the Chorus out of survival will be the most forthcoming. The genuinely loyal members of the Chorus will likely lie with abandon to protect the voices of Nerat. Your fellow Fatebinders have been busy acting as my eyes and ears. I have a few leads for you to follow. You should, of course, speak with your brothers and sisters of the court if you need further counsel. The disfavored have made use of the Sage's network of dovecotes and messenger birds as they come under capture. I've heard multiple claims of strategic communications gone missing. The Sages are broken, their citadel in flames, but they were not slaughtered to the last. Some of their numbers still congregate around the smoking husk of their burning library. If they have been reading disfavored communications, learn what they learned, then execute them. The Oathbreakers were reported to be using iron armaments, more than they might acquire from looting what few disfavored they killed. Any iron in the tiers not rusted through was made by forge-bound hands in Lethian's Crossing. Between craftsman and quartermaster, someone let iron fall into enemy hands. Investigate this matter and bring the thieves to justice. There is a final matter to discuss. A sensitive topic.
Though it's impossible to gauge from his expression, Tunon seems more wary than usual. Odd or even. I roll a d20 for maximum chances. 15 is an odd. What concerns the court?
In spite of the many shortcomings at Vendrian's Well, you managed to make a name for yourself. You proclaimed an Edict of Kairos, resolved its demanding conditions, and ascended the mountain spire.
Yes, so?
Any one of these feats would be worthy of recognition by the highest authority. You managed to accomplish 3.
Just doing my job. Just doing my job. 9, that's a 3.
I would caution you against such flippancy to your role. Others would look to you for confidence in the court, in Kairos's very laws. I would not have them see this disappointment on display. Whether by design or by accident, you have captured the attention of Kairos's army and the local tiersmen alike. This is no small opportunity, and the court charges you with exploiting your new standing to its fullest potential.
Oh, well. Even governor?
You have a title in our hierarchy. However, it's a little-known secret that one's standing in the world is determined by their infamy, their deeds, and how they come to be known. Mind this notion as you bring justice to this lawless frontier. There may come a time when your deeds speak for you louder than any title. Whatever you did to capture the attention of the masses at Vendrian's Well, I would encourage you to do so again.
Oh, well, since I got a player here, or a person here, you get to, I could finish this conversation, or you can just start in the middle of it, whichever is best for you. I'm down for whichever answer, that's for sure. 2. Okay. I look forward to chaining chaos to my will.
So long as order and Kairos' law follow in your wake, you may dispatch chaos however you see fit.
Junon is not very happy with me tonight. Oh, that cracks me up.
You are dismissed. Should the court have need of your presence, you will receive word. Go forth and do my bidding, and bring glory and honor to the tears in Kairos' name.
This is not lag, it's latency. Latency. Lag is like, I push a button, and I didn't shoot that guy like I was supposed to, and then... But there's gonna be some latency between the chat and what goes on here. Also, it's on like a multi-stream thing, so can't read it. It doesn't even show up in multi-stream. It just Twitch chat shows up. That's okay. Oh, that's the dog. He needs to be let back in. I will be right back. Yeah, it does take forever. 30 seconds, I think, was what we timed it at. 30 seconds. So, it takes forever for 30 seconds to get here. You and that bone. Spark got a rib bone from last week that I cooked. He's almost eaten the whole thing, but it's been his afternoon entertainment. Okay. Tunon has given us
And so, civil war divides the armies of mighty Kairos. The reckoning that comes of this failure will be great indeed. We find ourselves in the darkest times. Brothers and sisters who fought for a similar cause now skewer each other over blighted lands in the favor of distant powers.
Alright. What would you have done, Barrick? This isn't a matter for discussion. I don't know, what do you want to say to Barrick? This is part of playing a role-playing game. You have to talk to the NPCs. Alright. We have another side quest for Barrick. That's to see if we can find somebody at the court to unarmor him.
Backing the disfavored was the only logical choice. Graven Ash is the only Archon worthy of your confidence, and you were wise to recognize as much. Naturally, I would have done the same. Whatever others might say about what happened in Vendrian's Well, you acted from instinct. I can't help but respect that.
Okay, well, we can at least agree on a 2, I hope. On this one. Man, it's cold in here. I got a haircut. I swear, after I get a haircut, every time it is... I get cold like crazy. No, go on. Is drier, fresh smell. You don't smell dry or fresh. You smell dog fresh. And by that, I mean you smell like a dog. Yeah, I know. No. Oh. Easy there. All right, go on. Go. Lay down. No. Lay down. What? Oh, cut it out. Oh. Lay down. No, lay down. There we go. He's being obstinate today. He's like, I need all of your attention. But it's been an exciting day. I know your bed is outside drying. That's why you're not in it. So you have to like assume the position on the mat. Yes, we had lots of pets earlier. Not even a moment's rest. This guy. This guy. All right. This I'm gonna see. I think. Okay, so here we are. He just came back inside. He wants to play right now. That's what he wants. He's adamant about it. Because I start talking, like I don't talk all day. And then all of a sudden I hop on here and I talk a whole lot and it gets him really excited. He does it every time. So, all right. So one here is this is the start of the quest. So I'm just gonna automatically hit it, and now. What does Barrick of the Stone Shield want from the court? He has made his displeasure known and allowed enough voice to collapse the tears upon each other. The adjudicator glares down at Barrick. Basically, he wants number one to see if the Forgebound can help remove his armor. Now, withdrawing the request could make Barrick angry at us. but if that's the way you wanted to roll, that would have been down for it. If he is encased in iron, that is none of the court's concern. My forge-bound smiths are occupied crafting weapons for the army, and I would not have their focus diverted to liberate one soldier from his raiment. Stone Shield, do the disfavored not have standards for the upkeep of arms and armor? Is this not one of your Archon's guiding principles? It is, Your Honor, but I find myself trapped in this junk pile after the Edict of Storms hit Stalwart. If you want to blame anyone, it should be Kairos. The Adjudicator contemplates the matter in total silence. The moment drags on far longer than you would suspect it warrants, but Tunon's interest does not abate for the moment. This soldier will remain encased in his armor, eccentric though it may be, and all subjects of Kairos are forbidden, eccentric though it may be, and all subjects of Kairos are forbidden to aid in its removal. Magic the likes of which none of us understand has touched the Stone Shield, and we will not interfere with the will of Kairos. That's fair. But, I'm trapped. Barrack trails off, looking to you for answers. Oh. That's fair. Tunon already doesn't like us. Might as well just push the luck. You gained wrath with Tunon and loyalty with Barrack. I mean, I think Tunon just doesn't want to be... I'm surprised and disappointed that you would even ask. Whatever you are trying to prove to your travel companion, the court finds it festering with sympathy and lack of precedent. Yeah, Tunon's a hard ass. Such is the will of Kairos and the will of the court. Tunon nods and bangs his gavel. What a jerk. Ah, you tried, I suppose. That counts for something. The adjudicator didn't say anything about me bending my way out of here, at least. Not that trying has ever made it better. Yeah, I don't think I've ever run across that path. I'm sure there might be a way to undo it, but you'd have to, like, I guess, be on the rebel path of messing with Kairos every single turn. Alright. We got places to be. Be on your way! Alright. We gotta talk to all these people. Fightbinder, you return. Rogerless looks you up and down with an inscrutable expression. You look as if you have questions for me to untangle. Ask. I am feeling generous. Feeling generous. And, well, if you're curious about something, we can go ahead and ask. I guess we're at the place for abundance of knowledge if we're that eager for it. Tell me what you think of the past Archons. Alright. Moxmira, the Archon of Pestilence, was disliked in her circles. When she opened her eyes to see and her mouth to speak, it was said that flies would gust into the air, swarming so thick as to blacken the sky. She died at the 20th year of her birth, following a string of unusual and grotesque symptoms. Well, I mean, I guess when you're the Archon of Pestilence, that might that might happen. Can you tell me about the old walls of the Bane? Well, with which do you should I start? The old walls are obviously old walls, and the Bane live within the old walls. That's much as I know. Also, they're like, it's forbidden to mess with them according to Kairos. Alright, tell me about the old walls. We know little enough about the ancient structures, save they predate all historical records. The forbidding ruins crisscross the tiers and north alike, centuries before we raised our cities. The only one old enough to guess is like that. The only one old enough to guess is likely Kairos. Fair enough. 2. Yeah, I got stuck staring at that screen. I didn't even see it pop up. Tell me about the Bane. The Bane are found in the old walls. Much of their defining qualities still escape me. They are creatures of smoke, clog, fang. If you find yourself unfortunate enough to fight one, remember that spells are effective against them, but grab the attention of others looking near. So they're attracted to magic, and some magic doesn't work on them. Oh, okay, let's talk about something else. There's definitely not for lack of choices here today, are we? Okay, 5 and 6. That's cool. Okay, start with number 5. The political entities of the tiers are essentially split between the bastard tiers of the younger realms and the bastard tiers, younger realms, and the free cities. Oh, which would you like to know? That's like opening a can of worms. You never know what you're gonna get. Okay. Alright, we'll start with 1. The bastard tier is the most northern of the tiers and was the first to bow to Cairo's reign. Though the knee they bent fell unwillingly, Kairos had his eye on the bastard tier for many years before he marched on her capital city. This is the hub of trade and commerce. Claim the markets and the people will follow. 2. The younger realms sprawl the middle of the and southernmost tiers and can be cataloged as follows: Apex, Azure, Haven, Stalwart. Azure was yeah, I agree. You could just skip the conversations too, you know. But they could have all piled this into one long thing. They could have. Azor was renowned for its exceptional fertile land, which fed the whole of the Tiers. That was before Kairos' Edict of Stone blighted the land. There are 3 free cities remaining: Last Harbor, Spiral's Mall, and Barris in Chains. The first and strongest of the free cities was the Setting Sun, which Kairos crushed in 429 with the Edict of Tumult. After that, the remaining free cities were quick to surrender. Well, that leads us... Alright, well, I just gave you 1 through 3. Then we can just end the conversation. We can go back. And 6. I didn't forget. Oh, well, I had a momentary lapse. But that doesn't mean I'm senile. It was just momentary lapse. I will not speak of the sages. They are no better than charlatans and cons, wholly selfish in their ill pursuit to hoard all knowledge from others. They are self-blinded by their own deceptions and clever manipulations. They alone cause their own undoing and are solely to blame for the burning library, one of the most grievous of wrongs in the known histories, for which they can never be forgiven. Yeah, that's what you know, that's what everybody needs to do to be grievous and wrong, is to fight Kairos. Okay, alright, so we talked about the sages. We hit up everything. Are we done with Romulus next to and on to the next? Farewell then. Fatebinder Callio. Damage. I see you've returned to the fold. Your exploits in Vendrian's Well are the matter of some discussion. Oh, this is a lady. The Fatebinder of Balance regards you with a discerning eye, and for a moment you feel if she is trying to peer into the very depths of your mind. What can I do for you? Callio touches a gentle hand on your shoulder. Alright. Whatever you choose is opening a can of worms that we're going to have to sift our way through. So I don't like the pre-planning of the questions is kind of nice. Like, oh yeah, just do 1 through 3 or... But I think we've learned that if we open one of these questions, it's going to give us a small menu of things to choose from because they've micro-diced all these conversations. Don't touch me! I don't know you! Tunon is the Overlord's fair and extracting adjudicator. He speaks with the voice of Kairos law, and his word is judgment. All of this and more you can learn by asking him yourself. Oh, excuse me. Go on, or does he intimidate you still? She chuckles softly. I jest, of course. I guess there's no dirt on Tunon. No dirt on Tunon. No juicy tidbits to blackmail him with later. I haven't seen King of the Hill in so long. I'd have to really dig for that. Has anything happened while I was away? Noonville was dispatched to Stalwart to break the stalemate between the locals and the disfavored. He proclaimed Kairos' Edict of Storms, shattered the country with winds unending. Winds unending. I think we went through. Yeah, well, I mean, we definitely did it last time, but the Edict of Storms was the one where we had to hunt down the Graven Ash's daughter to find out that she was banging the king's son on the enemy side, and they had a baby. Spoiler alert. We've already been through this once. Some of the things in the storyline don't change. It's just how we act on them is different now. Don't touch my purse. All right. Last one. Fatebinder Nunvol. None of y'all. Tunon's favor won. Well, damn it, you returned unscathed and more acclaimed than ever. As seems to be your way. The Fatebinder of War claps you good-naturedly with excessive strength on the back. Come, you must regale me with all that your journey has held. I could use a moment of respite between friends. He regards you with a warm, boisterous smile. Speak as you wish. I'd pay a boar's weight in rings to know your thoughts. He rakes his hand through his thick, red beard and offers you a grin. Come, let us speak freely. Oh, that's fine. The seasoned warrior rubs a finger against the line of stubble along his cheek. We are a relatively young order, though we have spanned these past 2 centuries. While the voices of Nerat and Graven Ash need armies to execute their will, Tunon wields but the modest court of vassals. We exist as the extension of his law. There is no place in all of Tyrannus beyond our judgment. That doesn't really give us much of an origin or a history. Just gives us an explanation of why we exist. Kind of disappointed, actually. I've claimed the spire at Vendrian's Well. You gained favor with Tunon. So the court's whispers are true. The fate binder rubs his fingers along the underside of his chin, pondering thoughts with great weight. After a moment, he offers you a wistful sort of smile. Someday, I would like to witness for myself this tower that has risen above the realms like a blade thrust into the sky. Six. Alright. Alright, Archon of War, I think we've had our fill of you. I think that's all anybody really needs to talk about. And then, here comes Blood and Mark. Right on time! Welcome back, kid. Assuming that it would have been, assuming as it would have been to watch the edict drop, I am glad you survived. The Archon of Shadows rouses from faraway stare, turning to face you with a wry smile. Though he stands, he seems to sift in and out of the shadows that shroud him. You gain favor with Blood and Mark for just showing up. Here you threw your rings on Graven Ash's side. Not a bad bet. Pick the Archon of War. But tell me the truth. Did you go with Ash because it seemed like the right thing to do? Or because supporting the voices was a worse option? Aha! Dun dun dun! I mean, if that's how we're gonna roll. You gain favor with Blood and Mark. Ah, silence. The first recourse when you've got something to hide. Oh. Now, I assume you're off to go meet Ash, but first, You and I need to have a little chat. We're gonna like continue to glare silently at him. I mean, we can. That's why the option is there. All right, I'm listening. Everyone keeps an eye on you. Everyone keeps an eye on you because you did something nobody has done before. Gotta guess what that might be? Um... 3, 2, 1. I mean, those are all valid answers. They're all correct, too. Maybe 4 also? Yeah. Yeah, 1 through 4 are all, like, proper answers for the first, for being, like, the first Fate Binder to do something. So... keep glaring. What? You don't know what you know? What? You don't want to know what makes you so important, kid? Kairos has issued a lot of edicts over the centuries, and so far as I know it, the Overlord always picks an agent to proclaim the words and complete the casting of the edict. Proclaiming an edict isn't new, neither is surviving or resolving the commandments of an edict. But you're the first to proclaim and resolve the very same edict, and it didn't kill you. In one fell swoop, you survived your second edict, resolved the very one you had proclaimed, and awoke an arcane structure that had slept for several centuries. My guess would be 4. More or less, mostly more. He offers you a dangerous grin. I don't care what you do with the information, but you should know the danger you're in now that you've put yourself on the map. Sticking with the disfavored is a smart idea, kid. At least smarter than getting mixed up with the Archon of Secrets. You'll never really be one of them. But if you value Ash's warriors, they'll serve you the best they can. All right. That's probably loud. Alright, next. The Archon of Shadow shrugs to you in farewell, but his golden eyes are light with interest as he watches you. Okay. Uh-huh. Oh. We're gonna go back to the map. Oh, right. Before we jump around on the map, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4. No, excuse me. Got a case of the burst today. We've got 4 quests to choose from. So we should choose one. That way we're not blindly roaming around the map going, what does this do here? What does this do there? Stirring Visions, which is whatever you did in Ascension Hall and Vendrian's Well, has given you the power to interact with the Spire before you ascended the Spire. You had a vision when the Edict broke. Understanding this vision might help you better grasp this new power you have acquired. So basically, investigating the Spire at Lethian's Crossing, the Weight of Aegis. I guess we should talk to Barrick and see how he see how we can further deal with his issue. Into the Maelstrom, meet Graven Ash and talk about stuff about Graven Ash stuff. And the Trial of Archons, which is the ongoing thing, so it's basically uncovering evidence that the Archons are both flawed and crumbled, like the whole campaign and everything. But this is an ongoing quest, and the other 3 are actual places and things that we can go to and talk about and engage with. I totally agree. If you'll be busy, I'll just break out the old dice board here. Or, since I got more than one viewer, y'all are definitely welcome to chime in and choose the adventure. I just roll dice and take the rolls from you guys. So, on a multiple choice right here, I usually just roll a d12 and divide it by 4. And I rolled a 4, which gives me a 1. Into the Maelstrom. Let's go talk to Graven Ash. Ironhearth. Strawberry cheesecake lasagna. I'm not sure if that's like decadence on layering decadence on decadence, or can I have like Mexican street corn salad lasagna? Is that an option? You make out a few figures on the road well ahead of you. The glint of iron and bronze marks them as well armed and armored. 2 feature the broad shoulders of beastmen haulers and lead a heavily laden cart. As they near, you realize that the standard flowing from their cart boasts the heraldry of Tunon, the adjudicator, Archon of Justice. They hail you as you approach. Available actions continue. Mexican street corn salad lasagna. I expect that. You recognize the woman who leads the procession as a minor functionary in Tunon's service by the name of Alma. Her clothes bear the red, black, and gold of the court, and she keeps her light brown hair in a carefully braided bun atop her head. Continue on, speak with them. This is a odd or even question, so I'll roll for odd this one, even that one. That's usually how that goes. I roll a d20, so that's 10 chances for each. And I rolled an 8. So even. We're just going to continue on. You pass through retinue by and continue towards your destination. Missed opportunity, but that's what the dice decided. Let's go talk to Graven Ash. Oh, I think there's plenty to talk to here. Let's start over here. Collecting quest. Greetings, Fatebinder. Akalos, 32nd Legion. The soldier salutes. Clunk. Glad to see Tunon's agent, Grace Ironhearth. Ash's troops have no lack of Ash's troop has no lack of order, but a servant of the court is always welcome. Between our missing commanders and the Scarlet Chorus, Lieutenant pinned down. Boy, I can't talk at the moment. Here we go. Between our missing commanders and the Scarlet Chorus Lieutenant pinned down, I'm afraid we have our hands full. I suppose I can spare a moment for conversation. You need something for me? Well, no. We'll find out here. A roll. 7, which is it's a 1. That equates to a 1. Tell me about the Scarlet Chorus, Lieutenant. Seems our troops have this little maggot of a Scarlet Chorus lieutenant cornered over at Cato Village. From what I'm hearing, it's the same guy who's been ransacking our caravans the past few weeks. I have not. But it doesn't mean I wouldn't. I would totally play. I gotta make sure that I'm It's done by Obsidian also. All right, that's cool. Parrot. Okay, excellent. Well, it definitely sounds entertaining. Yeah, Obsidian makes like some really cool content, so I'm always down for that. I didn't know that. I just ran across Tyranny like as a shot in the dark game, and after I played it 3 or 4 times, I realized I really liked it, and and now I'm playing it on here. So don't be afraid to like chime in on a choice, because I'm always down for that. So if you see something in the chat, you're like, hey, we should do that, or something, you know, I'm always down for that. I keep the combat pretty minimum so we can get on with storyline stuff. I'll definitely check it out. I might look at it tomorrow. So, Pillars of Eternity. Alright, if I wasn't already handling something for Ash, I'd go and skin the filth myself. You being here simplifies matters. Make sure the lieutenant doesn't leave the village with his life. Okay? So if you want to, like, well, for me, this is a, like, alright, yeah, we can handle this if you want. Should we take this quest, or do you want to just blow it off? I'm all down for either. That's the whole point of Choose My Adventure, because I just play the game, you choose it. Okay, so I don't know if it's slow chat or what's going on, but I'm just going to go ahead and roll. One will be even, two will be odd. I just throw a d20 in here. And it doesn't look like we're going to do this one. Alright. Screw off, Alkalos. I've got better things to do. As you will. If you find it in your schedule, just let me know. Naturally, you have my undivided attention. 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright. D4. I got my first, I got a new D4 today. I was at the comic shop and I had to pick up a few things. And they had like this huge dice selection, and it was the only one I was missing out of my collection. And I dug through all their nice expensive dice, and they just happened to have a opal one that matched the rest of mine. I was really surprised, actually. Alright, rolled a 2. Because, tell me about your home in the north. I hail from Balmywell, a small hamlet far west of Cairo's capital. It's nothing glorious, but I can trace 6 generations back there, so it's home. I hope to return there someday with a heap of tales, rings, and renown. Once Graven Ash gave me his favor and recruited me to join the army, my family went from respectable farmers to elite folk, better regarded and respected than damn near anyone. They must be doing well for themselves. Where were you during the conquest? You could say I've seen the tears from top to bottom. I dug the trains at our encampment at the Gates of Judgment. Then my promotion sent me to Lethian's Crossing. Got into a few rows with the Bronze Brotherhood. Not a pretty sight. Then I had a brief deployment in Apex, but the fighting was winding down around when I arrived. After that I did a tour of Stalwart, but got transferred out before the edict tore everything apart. Alright, odd or even. Even will be 4, 5 will be odd, of course. Even. How did you join the disfavored? Ahead of the conquest, Graven Ash sent recruiters to all the outlying towns, looking for worthy talent. The village held a tourney in melee to demonstrate our local muscle. Nothing fancy, mind you. It was mostly fighting on hay bales with wooden spears. I had the distinction of toppling even the biggest contender. A familiar tale. One from my own heart, Barrick says. Barrick nods with respect. Alcos. It's a good thing I succeeded. It's more useful to Kairos on the field of battle than a field of wheat. Farewell, bro. On to our next,
Found something.
Oh, you did, didn't you? What did you find? Oh, cool. It's something Landry has not had in a while. I'm glad he found that. What can we do? Sigil of life, regenerating. And this thing is actually really good. I'm gonna slap that there. Let's go talk to Halfway Dead. The disfavored soldier chuckles with disdain at the Scarlet Chorus fighter. Consider it. Not for a second. We pick our soldiers from elite northern families. We don't recruit from flies buzzing over mass graves. Are the disfavored so narrow-minded? My gang's strength delivered us across half a dozen battles with a line of fallen enemies in our wake. Not many conscripts can say the same. The question is not a matter of your skill, but of your breeding, your training, your pedigree. Noticing you, the Iron Guard salutes. Hail, Graven Ash, Fate Binder, if I may take a moment of your time. Alright, odd or even. $11, odd. What do you need? This person comes representing a Scarlet Chorus gang. What did you call yourselves again? The Grinning Bleeders. We have a long and storied reputation in the Scarlet Chorus ranks. Killers of the highest order, my gang. He puffs his chest up with pride. Before I was a boss here, I ran the Broken Shits, the Salty Nightmares, and Trap Gang. Everyone made a name for themselves during the war. I would not like to run a band called the Broken Shits. In any case, he's asking to join the disfavored, which is out of the question. I've explained the numerous reasons why we can't allow it, but the wretch won't listen. It's an interesting, I don't think I've seen this before. 2, do you want me to decide the matter? You must know Kairos laws back to front. I trust you know your traditions as well. If it peels this lamprey off my backside, I'll allow it. Speaking for my gang, we'll accept your judgment. We're eager to crack some tearsmen's skulls with Kairos' army again, no matter what color they wear. Odd. Or even. You rolled a 10, that's even. On second thought, I'll address this later. Apparently it's not necessary. Foxtrick? Kind of you to stop and chat. I'm in a sticky situation, and no one in my gang is alive or around to help me out. Stop wasting the Fate Binder's time. He has better things to do than to listen to some criminal's mewling. I'll be the judge of that. Odd or even. Here we go. Odd. I'll be the judge of that. Tell me your problem, soldier. Thanks for hearing me out. The disfavored aren't keen on conversation, otherwise I wouldn't be here. It's impossible to get in a word edgewise. She glares at her captor. Soldiers caught me outside a breach in the old walls. That's it. I wasn't inside, I hadn't stuck my toe through the threshold, and I wasn't dancing with any bane. I have a healthy relationship with self-preservation. 11. Let's put this on odd. Then why were you arrested? You are only hearing one side of the story, Fatebinder. Our scouts observed this wretch readying to enter the old walls. Her account is flawed, her guilt witnessed by multiple trustworthy northerners. The soldier makes a point of standing extra straight when he addresses you. That's really ridiculous. I'm sorry, is ready to enter the best you have? Besides, because I could just as easily argue that you're ready to get knife between your shoulder blades, but it doesn't count for shit until I see blood and bronze. I didn't go to the old walls. Case closed. Alright, roll a 16. I'd rather not handle this right now. I just don't want to handle anything in Graven Ash's camp, do I? You are all
That's a negative.
You are all a hassle, apparently.
Well, what do we have here?
Osina. Welcome, Fatebinder of Tunon, the disfavored Ironwalker bows. Welcome to Ironhearth. I'm sure that Graven Ash appreciates any help that you can offer. Circumstances have a way of coming together so the disfavored are always stretched thinner than we would like. What can I do for you? Plop, plop. 4, which is a 1. Why are the disfavored so overworked? She rubs her palms together and frowns. We're trying to shoulder the brunt of this civil war without the strength of numbers. The Scarlet Chorus can throw 1,000 disposable bodies at an issue without a second thought, but we're forced to be a little more discriminating. We might be trained to deal with the stress of combat and all-night drills, but we're fatigued even by the highest standard we set ourselves. She studies in a cautious manner. Not that I need to burden an agent of the court with my misgivings. Musegivings? Is that how? Misgivings? Once the war is over and the tears are properly subdued, my hope is that Kairos dispatches some relief troops to support the occupation. We all deserve a season of rest. Which is a 3. Back to my previous questions. Odd or even? 7 is odd. Where were you during the conquest? After the Edict of Storms hit, I spent some time among the ruins of Stalwart, digging out survivors from the Legion. I'm afraid I didn't find much. Well, of course not. They were pretty badly abused after that. Alright. She glances up at Barrick. You must have moved on by then. You must have moved on by then, or else we'd have assembled a team to excavate you. My prison moved with me. There is no reason to tarry. He bows his head respectfully. I still think about the brothers and sisters we left behind. Sometimes I can imagine that I hear their voices carrying on. Alright, I will be on my way. Even though you're not fully fledged disfavored recruit, I've been authorized to grant you purchasing rights from our store within certain limits, of course. Sure, let's give a browse real quick. What's that? I'll see. Let's see. Might need that. What else is here? That. Might need that. What? Still don't have enough? Oh, how about that? You are a bit better than okay, now, wait, no. There we go. We just don't have enough. Wait. There you go. Nobody has enough lore for that. Is Eb the only one that can use that? Or maybe she's the only one who's high enough to use it. Okay, anyways. That's all I was really after. Looks like we got it. All right. Oh, Fatebinder, it's good of you to report in. These days it is difficult enough to judge friend from foe. I am pleased to recognize you as the former of the two. Ash favors you with a curt nod. After what transpired at Vendrianswell, the disfavored must hold fast to our allies. You are here because of your support at the siege, but I don't mistake your confidence for devotion. The Scarlet Chorus would not have you. Six, which is 3. Tunon is my master. He stands above your petty squabbles. If he stood above them, then he could see well enough how the voices of Nerat has conspired against our forces since the beginning. No, for all his claims of objectivity, I have my suspicions that your adjudicator is as compromised as this war is as any of us. Whoa. Those are some strong words coming from Graven Ash. What is it you require? Well, I have a realm to conquer, mostly. That's what I would think. Alright, we're gonna roll a d6 because I haven't rolled anything but a d20 in a while. 4. Tell me about your connection with your soldiers. Every member of the Disfavored is as precious to me as family. Their bloodlines are known and respected. Their performance in combat beyond every expectation, and I would go to any lengths in their service. They call me General or Archon, yet I consider myself a servant and guardian of these excellent men and women. But I suspect that isn't what you intended to hear. There is a deeper connection still, but to appreciate it, you must understand our history, my rebellion, and my rise to power. What? I want to know more about the Disfavored. We are more than a mere army. I ensure that the Disfavored Legion represents everything we would hold dear in the North. Rigid discipline, training to perfection, respect for the law, and the importance of family. As conquerors, it is our duty to teach the savage lands not just how to live up to the values the Empire sets, but how to live for them. Very wordy. 6. Farewell. That is not why we came here, but that is where the dice left us. Let's go find out what's in this bucket. A fish. Okay. I'll take a fish. Alright, Graven Ash. Don't make me take a... Fatefinder, you return. Through his congenial smile, you just barely detect Ash is wincing. Right, you D-bag. I need that one. 3. We're never gonna like get this conversation over with. Alright. Let's go back over here. What's the problem? This person comes representing the Scarlet Chorus Gang. Blah blah blah. I ran the broken shits. In any case, he's asked to join the Disfavored, but the wretch won't listen. Okay, it gives us a 1 or 3, so 1 will be odd, 3 will be even. Odd. Is that accurate? It is. We're not looking for special treatment, just a new beginning. Seeing as we're healthy, fit, and combat ready, the Ironclad should have no reason to refuse us. He sniffs, especially since we're low on numbers. That may be true, but there's no excuse to pollute our respectable ranks with your company. Shots fired. We're more than capable. Put any weapon in our hands, or send us on any suicide mission, it'll be mercy compared to what we've faced under Voices of Narat. If we joined up, the disfavored wouldn't have to compromise their staunch northern morals. We would take the bloody work off their hands. Well, that leaves. Okay, so we're back here. You want me to decide the matter. You must know Kairos laws back and front. Take the testimony first. Of course, I have nothing to hide. Alright, wish there was a D5, but we have a D10. And it was a 2. Why this interest in the disfavored? Better training, better quarters, iron weapons? The disfavored have everything we wanted out of joining the military. I want to serve Kairos to the best of our abilities. Is that asking too much? Old Ironclad here seems to think so. Their respect for command leaves something to be desired. Fair enough point, Barrick. That leaves with a 4. Four. What is my help worth to you? We're playing that game, are we? He grins. I managed to pocket a few handfuls of rings. Fair trade for starting a new life. Oh. Halfway's dead. Is about to get his even. No deal. As you wish. You're ruling then. Okay, that leaves us with 1 and 3. Six. That's a 3. I'm ready to make my ruling. Good. Whatever's fair. We're prepared to stand by it. None of these are like really good options for these guys. I would make them join just for shits and giggles, though. One, you abandon your duties. Execution is the only recourse. You gain favor with Tunon, wrath with Scarlet Chorus, and favored with the disfavored. What? Who said that was an option on the table? Oh, this is insane. Even. You did. When you submitted to my judgment. Farewell. You gain favor with Blood and Mark. My thanks, Fatebinder. I'll make sure this derelict is handled appropriately. Four, you have my permission to hunt down the rest of his gang as well. More wrath with Chorus, more favored with the disfavored. To be sure, the officer nods with enthusiasm. One gang cut off from the rest of the mob should make for an easy enough hunt, and my archers are desperate for need of target practice. Halfway's dead is now completely dead. Okay, back to Fox Trick. Thanks for coming back around. Any chance of lending a hand with my case? The disfavored aren't what you'd call compromising folk. Soldiers caught me outside of a breach walls. That's it. Blah, blah, blah. Was only on the threshold. And why were you arrested? Because she looked guilty instead of actually like doing something that made her guilty. I'm sorry, because blah blah blah. She didn't go into the gold walls. Alright, before I adjudicate on this matter, I need your mutual cooperation. If you ask me, this prisoner has already been tried and sentenced. If this little game will silence her counterwalling, then be my guest. I'll stand by your decision. It couldn't land me anywhere worse than this. Fair enough. Two. What's a favorable ruling worth to you? She snorts. Apparently I want to extort everybody. I'd love to help you there, but the disfavor took everything I had. Pity, I had a mountain of rings that I would love to have split. You can thank our mutual friends over there. She nodded to the stone shield. The young lady was captured with some rusted weapons and a pittance of rings. I would hardly call that a mountain. You have your story, and I have mine. D12. And I rolled a 3. I'm ready to make my judgment. You sure about that? Because I can't help but feel we haven't covered a lot of territory. Well, what do the dice decide? 15. Yes, I'm ready. That makes it an odd, so yeah. Let's have it then. I hope you've got everything you needed. Roll a 3. At the very least, the evidence is insufficient to prove of the charges. You are free to go. Favored with Tunon, Wrath is disfavored, favored with Scarlet Chorus, and some experience. Shrewd, Fatebinder, very shrewd. I think you'll do just fine. This goes against my orders and my reason, but I cannot argue with the ruling of Tunon's agent. I'll let you go. Try and stay out of trouble. I'll stay out of the old walls. That's all I can promise. All right. Boy, did that settle that matter. Oh, now Barrick wants to talk. Well, I guess we were supposed to talk to him anyways. So let's get this over with. Only the slightest nod of Barrick's domed helmet offers any indication of this, that the soldier noticed that you approached. What do we say to Barrick? 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's a 2. Alright, 2. Didn't turn out like you'd hoped, did it? On the contrary, I expected little else from the court. The Archon's decisions changes nothing. I have persevered to this point. I shall continue to do so, for the sake of General Ash and the North. Oh, well. Two. There may be another way. Your master was very specific in his sentence. He forbade not only assistance from the Forge-bound, but from anyone, anywhere in the world. That's a 1. Alright, 10 is a 1. No, the Archon forbade any subject of Kairos to aid you. You split hairs, Binder. The whole of the world bends on the knee of the Overlord. Yeah. Splitting hairs sounds like fun. 8, which is, 2. No. No, yeah, 2. Perhaps, some other way to free you will present itself. You have gained loyalty with Barrack. Your optimism does you credit, Fatebinder, though I fear it misapplied. Oh, that's a D4. There we go. 2. 2? I swear that I will not speak to the Forgebound about your armor. Happy? If you honor that oath, you hardly sounded sincere. Alright, maybe now we can get on to some Graven Ash topics. Now it's getting warm in here. Okay. Ash stares into space and worries his beard with both hands. The reflective action seems to bring him comfort, though the ferocity of his gesture strikes you as unhealthy. Eight, which is a 2. He grabs your hand before you have a chance to make contact. Clarity returns to his gaze. He regards you with confusion. Fatebinder, I forgot myself for a time. Chalk it up to an old man's wandering thoughts. You have my undivided attention. Two, you look distracted there for a moment. The war leaves me preoccupied. I cannot worry enough about the safety of my soldiers. Every outpost, every detachment, as a cohort of daughters and sons who I would bring home at once. What do I say next? 3. 3? How am I ever supposed to... Oh, well. Very good. I hit the wrong button, but I hit it too. Very good. I look forward to hearing your exploits out of this dreadful wilderness. And if you require anything from me, don't hesitate to ask. What is it you require? Alright, 1, 2, 3. Seven is a 2. These are troubled times for all, but none more so than the forces of Kairos, or organized offensives. Our organized offense. Our organized offense has splintered. The loyalties have challenged at every command. The loyalties are... There we go. The loyalties are challenged at every level of command, and much that we have built during the conquest crumbles under its own weight. We had thought the Vendrian's Guard were the final death rattle of this region's defiance. We were wrong. The tiers have risen up against Kairos, emboldened by their countrymen. while the disfavored labor to maintain order, that serpent, Voices of Nerat, grows his army of lunatics and sellswords, preparing to lash out when we least suspect. So our little exercise in defiance wasn't a total failure. I'll try to find some cold comfort in that knowledge. There can be no peace while the Voices of Nerat lives. And no order while the Scarlet Chorus rampage across these islands, or these lands. The elimination of chaos must be our first priority. Then we will have our time to govern the tiers as Kairos intended. Can I depend on your support against the Scourge? Against the Scourge! 7, which is a 1. What will you have me do? Our position of authority our position of authority in the Blade Grave is far from secure. We need to establish ourselves in the region in order to cultivate our strength from the battle to come. And as soon as I am confident in our chances, we will depart this realm and wipe the Chorus threat from the face of Tyrannus. The Unbroken, former daughters and sons of Stalwart, vex our efforts to secure the region. The Edict of Storm offers them cover. They slip past our patrols in the light of day, hiding their movements behind clouds of dust and debris. Kairos casts this blight on the country to set an example, not plague those of us loyal to the north. We must travel to Sentinel Stand and seek out Stratus Heroded. He is the last of the old stalwart bloodline who called themselves regents. Put him to the sword and end this edict once and for all. Five, consider him dead. Find the last regent. Kill him. End this Edict of Storms and staunch his seeping wound of the rebellion once and for all. The downfall of the Unbroken and the old regent will send a message throughout the tiers. Our rule is absolute, and dissidence will not be tolerated. 10, which is a 1. Consider it done. You have gained favor and unlocked Sentinel Stand on the world map. There is one final matter to discuss. My daughter. My daughter went missing in the second year of the conquest. I have reason to believe she is trapped in the fortress of Sentinel Stand. If you can find Amelia, bring her home to me. Dun dun dun. 5. If I find her, I'll ensure her safe return. That is all I ask. Amelia is but one soldier. Yet if I had the forces to dispatch, I would make her retrieval my highest priority. She's a commander of the highest renown and a paragon of northern values. Fatebinder, I offer you my support in this mission. The Blade Grave is a place of memory. I left many cohorts buried among the ruins, and no small part of myself as well. I don't know why you would argue with it. Just be like, yes, Barrick, I understand. Okay. Could you elaborate? The matter is a sensitive one, but I fear to speak in the company of the great general, though he doubtless knows it already. Barrick attempts to stand tall before Graven Ash. Speak on, son of Barrick Conan. Nothing I've seen you accomplish in the field has diminished you in my eyes, and I know my soldiers as well as I know myself. I lost countrymen by the hundreds in the last day of the Stalwart campaign, and for my troubles I became fused with this armor. The Blade Grave is the last place I ever felt human. That is all I will say about it now. The last of the last battle of Stalwart was terrible time. Was a terrible time. Most people, ugh, perhaps most of all for you who survived. I mourn those we lost and recite their names often during morning drills. We cannot restore their broken bodies to the north, but we can remember them as they were. Three. You have much invested in this mission. Of course you can accompany Barrick. I appreciate that, Fatebinder. Graven Ash is attentive and understanding to each of his troops, and it pleases me to see his example in you. And in you, Armored One, never forget that I found you in the mere germination of your potential, and you have accomplished much in your ensuing years. Thank you, General. Though it is impossible to tell through this helmet, you assume that Barrick is blushing. Your map is already marked with the position of Sentinel Stand. It would take me 100 lifetimes to forget those old walls, or the day the edict shattered our advance. Oh, we're in an odd and even roll right here. That's the wrong data. Alright, even. Let's be off. Well, that was quite the conversations. Where's the there's the exit. Now oh. Alright. Graven Ash wants to kill Stratus Harridan at the end to end the magical storms. Speak with the Forge Bound. At Lethian's Crossing to help Barrick. Find a way to Lethian's Crossing Spire. Alright, we're rolling on 3 hours here. I can tell I'm running out of steam. So, a lot was accomplished. Definitely a lot of backstory and stuff like that. I think I'm about done for the evening. Like I said, I'm running out of steam. So, we're going to save this. And I think I'm just gonna close everything out, call it a night. Thanks for stopping by. Thanks for enjoying the show. Thanks for pitching in efforts and decisions. If you liked it, please follow. I'm not syndicated yet, so you can't subscribe and pay Twitch a monthly fee for my entertainment. But you can help support the channel by purchasing something down below at the store link that's there. I guess that's pretty much it. So I have a show to watch. It was called something. It was made in 1997. I'm not sure about it yet, so we'll find out. But apparently, it's on Amazon. It was an HBO show. That's all I know. But it was suggested to me, so I'm going to give it a shot and enjoy it. Hopefully, stick around for tomorrow. We're going to, at the same time. Actually, we're going to move it to 7 o'clock. Tomorrow is 7 o'clock to 9:30, 10 o'clock, depending on when I run out of steam. Talking for 3 hours does get to you, so a 3-hour stream is about as much as I can muster up. Besides that, I have to still do things outside of stream. So, well, that's it for me tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining in. Buy something, follow, enjoy, and let's have some fun tomorrow night. We're going to be doing this Friday night, and Saturday is Let's Grab a Drink, and that's pretty much where we just drink and have fun. So we'll see you all tomorrow night.